All right, strap in, everybody. We're going
Yeah.
deep on this one. EON Reality, they've got this big plan to really shake things up, in the learning space, career development, all that.
Mm.
They just released this white paper, pretty intense. EON Reality technical document for new 2025 features. Learn, practice, get hired, stay well. That's the whole title.
Catchy.
Right. And it really interesting stuff. I mean, we're talking AI, XR, all that kind of coming together to maybe even change, like fundamentally change how we learn new skills, how we find jobs, even, and this is kind of cool, how we deal with all the stress that comes with, big career changes.
Yeah, and it's interesting what EON Reality is doing here. It's not just like they're adding some AI features here and there,
Yeah.
They're going all in, like a whole platform, single platform that takes you all the way from, okay, what skills do I even have to, boom, I got the job, and even helps you with, staying mentally healthy throughout the whole Buthas.
It's like they're addressing the whole human experience, not just the skills part.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so let's dig into some of these AI-powered features that they're talking about in this white paper, because there's some really fascinating ones.
Yeah.
This AI-powered skill assessment. This one really stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine, like, you upload your resume, your LinkedIn profile,
Yeah.
the system analyzes it all, and then it gives you, like, this detailed breakdown of all your skills, right?
And it really goes beyond just, like, listing what you put on your resume, It actually analyzes the content, figures out, okay, what are your strengths? Are there any gaps? Like, what's your actual proficiency level in different areas? And that's super important because that's how the platform can then create a truly personalized learning path for each user.
So it's not just throwing a bunch of courses at you. It's like, okay, here's what you specifically need to work on.
Right. No more one size fits all. This is tailored to you.
Okay, so then from there, we get into the personalized learning paths and simulations. This is where it gets really, really cool.
Oh, yeah.
So based on that initial assessment, the platform actually puts together a learning path just for you, right? Custom made.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking, like videos and quizzes, although there's that too. They're also talking about full-blown VR and AR simulations tailored to what you need to learn. Pretty wild.
It's like learning by doing, but on a whole other level.
Right.
And what's really neat is the difficulty adjusts in real time. So based on how you're doing, it gets harder or easier.
So it's kind of like having an AI tutor who's constantly adapting to your needs.
Exactly, yeah. Keeping you challenged, keeping you engaged. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without real-time feedback and mastery tracking. Gotta have that.
Oh, yeah, imagine this.
Yeah.
You were working through a simulation, you make a move, and bam, the system tells you instantly, good job, nope, try again, maybe even gives you a hint.
Right. And then you can actually see your progress as you go. Okay, I've mastered this, now I'm moving on to that.
So motivating. Talk about a confidence booster. But EON Reality, they don't stop there. They take this even further. Job matching and career transition assistance.
Yeah, this is where they start to connect all the dots. They're using AI to constantly scan job postings, analyze them. Then they match you with opportunities that fit your skills, but not just your skills from like 5 years ago, your current, updated, evolving skills, and what you're actually interested in too.
It's like a superpowered headhunter, always working for you in the background. And then on top of that, get this, they've even got AI-powered coaching built in. So like for interviews, resume writing.
Yeah, taking all the stress out of that process is really smart because the job market is changing so fast. This kind of help is invaluable. But what really sets them apart, I think, is the AI-powered anxiety reduction and mental support. They actually built this into the platform.
It's true. They recognize, okay, learning new stuff, job hunting, all that can be pretty overwhelming. It can be stressful. So they've got this 24/7 chatbot coach that uses like cognitive behavioral therapy techniques.
Yeah, CBT. It's actually a really effective type of therapy for dealing with anxiety and stress. It helps you identify negative thought patterns and then change them.
Oh, wow.
So the chatbot is there whenever you need it, offering support, guidance. They've even got mindfulness exercises built in, stress management strategies, all kinds of things.
So it's not just, okay, here's the information, figure it out. It's about supporting the whole person.
Yeah, a really holistic approach. I mean, honestly, it's great to see a company taking this seriously, the emotional side of things, because it's huge. It really impacts how successful you'll be in anything you do.
Absolutely. And it's like EON Reality is really taking on these big challenges that we're all facing in this rapidly changing world, right?
Yeah, it's not about learning one specific skill anymore. It's about being adaptable, resilient, being able to manage yourself when things are changing all the time. And EON Reality seems to really get that. That's what makes this whole vision so compelling.
So just to recap, We've got this platform that walks you through skill assessment, personalized learning, job matching, even offers mental health support. I mean, it's ambitious, it's a lot to take on. But the question is, how does this actually work on a technical level? I mean, they're throwing around all these terms, natural language processing, machine learning frameworks. Sounds complicated.
It is complicated, but that's what makes it so fascinating, right?
Yeah, for sure. So let's break down some of those technical details and see how EON Reality is actually making all of this happen.
All right, let's do it. Let's get into the nuts and bolts.
Okay, let's do it. I'm ready.
So, all right, let's peel back some of those layers. What's going on under the hood here?
Yeah, get into the nitty-gritty.
Okay, so one of the key ingredients here is natural language processing.
NLP.
NLP, exactly. Basically, think of it as the engine that lets the platform actually understand, process human language.
So the system is like learning to read, interpret text like we do.
Yeah, exactly like that. So NLP is what makes that AI-powered skill assessment possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can look at your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and actually pick out keywords, extract the information, even figure out the context of your experiences.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and to do that, EON Reality is using some pretty sophisticated machine learning frameworks, specifically BERT and GPT. These are algorithms they've been trained on massive amounts of text data.
GPT, that's one that writes like a human. Right. I've heard of that.
Yeah, exactly. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, and it's known for creating really human-sounding text.
Wow.
So EON Reality is probably using that for things like the AI coaching, for interviews, resume writing. Imagine getting feedback on your resume, personalized feedback from an AI that actually gets the nuances of language.
It's like having an AI writing partner.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, so what about BERT? What's BERT doing?
BERT, that stands for Bidirectional Encoder Representations from Transformers, another mouthful, but it's really good at understanding, the relationships between words in a sentence.
Okay.
So it's perfect for, sentiment analysis, figuring out, is this positive, is this negative?
Right.
Or question answering, things like that.
So BERT is helping the system understand kind of the subtleties of language, and then GPT is actually the one generating the text, the responses and stuff.
Exactly, yeah. It's amazing how all these different technologies are kind of coming together.
Yeah.
And it's not just about language. EON Reality is also using a concept called microservices to build the platform.
Okay, microservices. Now we're getting really
A
technical.
little bit, yeah. But imagine a car. Instead of being built as this one giant, complicated machine, it's made up of all these smaller, interconnected parts, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea behind microservices. So you break down this big, complex platform into smaller, more manageable chunks. Each microservice has a specific job, like user authentication or skill assessment, content delivery, and they all work together to create the whole user experience.
Gotcha. So it's like a well-oiled machine, but each part has a very specific function.
Exactly, yeah. Makes the platform much more flexible, it's easier to scale, easier to maintain. And of course, it's all happening in the cloud. They mentioned secure cloud deployment.
Right, which is essential for something this big. I mean, you need the computing power, the storage, and security is obviously huge, especially when we're talking about, personal information, mental health data, all that.
Yeah, security is paramount here. And to their credit, EON Reality seems to be taking it very seriously. They talk a lot about, data privacy, ethical AI usage, adhering to GDPR compliance.
So they're being transparent about how they're using the data, how they're protecting it.
Yeah, it seems that way, which is, reassuring to a certain extent.
For sure.
But I think it's important to remember that even with all the safeguards in place, there are still ethical considerations that we need to be thinking about.
Right.
Like, how do we make sure the algorithms they're using for job matching aren't, accidentally reinforcing existing biases in the workforce?
Right.
How do we prevent the chatbot from giving, harmful or misleading advice? These are big questions, and they need careful thought and attention.
Absolutely. It's a conversation that needs to happen alongside all these technological advancements, for sure.
For sure.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about the rollout of the platform, because I imagine they're not just going to flip a switch and make this available to everybody overnight.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a phased approach, which is a smart move.
Okay.
They're starting with beta releases of the core features to a select group of partners. So, the AI-powered skill assessment, the personalized learning paths.
So like a test run before they open it up to the public.
Yeah, exactly. Get some feedback, work out any bugs, make sure everything's running smoothly.
Okay, so that makes sense. Start small, test it out. What about those more advanced features, though, the job matching, the AI and mental health support? When are we going to see those?
Yeah, so those are coming in phase two after that initial beta testing period. They want to, make sure those features are really polished, that they integrate well with the rest of the platform before they roll it out to more people.
So it's a process, a step-by-step rollout.
Mm.
But they have given us like a target date, a timeline for the full, public launch, haven't they?
They have. They're aiming to have the whole platform, everything, available to the public before the end of 2025.
Wow. That's ambitious.
It is, yeah. Given everything they're building, that's a pretty tight timeline.
It is, but it sounds like they're not, cutting corners. They're really trying to do this right.
Yeah, I think so. And that's what I find exciting about it. It feels like they're not just chasing the latest trends, they're actually trying to address these real problems that people are facing in the world of work and education.
Right. It's not just about like cool tech. It's about using that tech to actually help people,
Mm.
empower people to navigate this crazy world that keeps changing all the time.
Absolutely.
And the potential impact of this is huge, right?
It's massive. I mean, just imagine a world where learning is truly personalized. You get the exact training you need at your own pace, and you've got support for your mental well-being every step of the way. That's powerful.
And then that learning connects directly to job opportunities,
Right.
like real jobs that match what you've learned, what you're good at. It could change everything.
It really could. It could make education, career development more accessible to everyone, help people adapt, reskill, and really thrive, even with all this constant change.
It's a powerful vision. But, like we've been talking about, there are these big questions that we have to consider. The ethical implications, the potential for bias, the importance of data privacy, all that. That conversation needs to continue.
Absolutely. Technology is a tool, right?
Yeah.
It can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us to make sure AI is developed and used in a way that benefits everyone.
Well said. Well, I think this has been a really thought-provoking deep dive. It's clear EON Reality is pushing the limits of what's possible. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens next.
It will be. This is just the beginning, it feels like.
Definitely. And for anyone who wants to learn more, you can find a link to the full white paper from EON Reality in our show notes.
Yeah, it's a dense read, but it's worth it if you want to really understand their vision.
It's a glimpse into the future.
It is.
Yep.
And whether we're ready or not, that future is coming.
That's a great point to end on. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep questioning everything.